Hey yo, welcome to our channel. Up first, some red flags that are easily spotted the second time around. A text I read on significant other's messages. She thinks I'm overreacting. Who are you sorry about the other night? I would have kept going, but the look you had on your face, so I stopped. When I asked her what else am I supposed to think, she told me that they were painting, then got real mad out of nowhere. An hour later, she cheated on me 5 years ago, and I still haven't gotten over it. Can't find it in me to forgive her. And because I noticed the red flags after her affair, I feel like she knows not to make it obvious by acting the way she did. Am I overreacting? Update: I know I'm not overreacting. When she was cheating on me 5 years ago, I always had this feeling that she was. The red flags I didn't notice back then were her always leaving the house and coming back late, her having a lock screen on her phone even when mine didn't, the shaved, how quick she was to get mad at me over the littlest things hitting me. The music she always played, the lyrics, not friending me on Facebook despite her being on it a lot. I want to remind you guys that these actions went unnoticed due to us having a baby, so I never would have thought she would do something like this to me. I don't like being whopped on. I called her out on her BS. I don't know why I asked if I was exaggerating. I saw the texts after he effing asked her if she was pregnant. I'm lost. I don't know what to do anymore. Maybe I don't know. Update 2. I left. She's staying with the guy who she told me not to worry about. I'm handling it pretty well. Nothing can hurt me more than she already has. I don't know how long it'll take me to find someone. Let's get some reactions from the community. Lone Wolf 369,963 says, she cheated on you 5 years ago. You aren't over it. There are many red flags after her affair. Now the suspicious messages. Why are you doing this to yourself? Why don't you just move on from her, as she's clearly not going to change anytime soon? I know it's easier said than done, but my friend, if you can't stand up for yourself, then no one else will. Also, I assume that the first time the affair was discovered was a rug sweep with her facing no serious consequences. Is that correct? Yellow Bastard 37 says, painting sounds like BS to me. Update: things I found out about ex's significant other's affair that happened in 2018. Since I never got any answers from her, I decided to contact her favorite partner, and here's a couple things I found out. She's known him since 2012, the year we started dating. Talking on the phone when I wasn't around, we'd talk for hours, make dirty jokes and laugh about it. He only wanted sex from her, nothing serious, but she wouldn't leave him alone. Said they had sex before she went home a few times and told her to have sex with me so I wouldn't get suspicious about anything. Her being out for hours, they had a pregnancy scare, and if she was, then she would tell me that I got her pregnant, and we never really had sex that year. In 2018, I'd found pregnancy tests twice that year when I was cleaning up the room. He brought her to his house, and she met his parents and his son. She even called him her stepson. The weekend she took off with her cousin Alice, and when Alice came to pick up my daughter, that was the night he was supposed to meet my daughter. He's from the same effing hometown as me. She sent him nudes, which she never sent me at all, even when we started dating. Only thing my ex's significant other told me was that the first time they slept together, he took off her pants and got mad when she resisted. So she let him take it off because she was scared of what he might do. And then it happened. Instead, after a minute, she felt ashamed. The fact that they've known each other ever since the year me and her were dating is what hurts the most. If it was a one-time thing, a one-night stand, I'd probably be over it. But no, the affair was something she wanted. She slept with him multiple times, met his family, including his son. I'm not even sure if it's me that she wanted to be with. I remember everything I've read in their texts. Things she never said to me, did for me, or with me. The amount of effing hickeys they gave each other. She seemed so happy in her texts. And in the picture we took of me, her, and her baby, she looked unhappy or annoyed in them. But when she took selfies, which she would let her hair down in, she always has her hair in a bun, and would be smiling selfie she sent to him. I'm effing devastated. I'm not sure she even loved me at all. Update for everyone that suggested paternity tests. Yes, my daughter is mine 100%. She didn't start the affair physically until our daughter was 5 months old. The reason I didn't notice the red flags was because of that. How young her baby was at the time. I never thought she'd sleep with someone else. She knew the guy before she met me. The sex didn't start till 2017. Our daughter was born July of 2017. They started seeing each other in December of that year. It went over a whole year until I found out in November of 2018. My recent posts were all about the same guy. I should have made that clear when I wrote the first post about the infidelity. The post about the painting thing, what I read in their texts about him kept going. But the look she had on her face made him stop. Was when they first had sex. All of my posts were about the same guy from 5 years ago. I took care of my daughter. I've been there in the hospital room when she was born, and I've been there since day one. I was both the father and mother. There was no visitation, and she wanted to be in her daughter's life. She shouldn't have done what she did. Let's get some more community feedback. Chuck and Riley say, the key here is that she is the ex. Well, I'm sure it hurts. You clearly are better off without someone like that in your life. Try to move past it because she doesn't deserve to remain in your thoughts. Bite Me 717 says, I seriously, one of your kids tested to make sure that they are yours. Celebrate that she's gone, and you can start living your life. She isn't a good person and is trashy. Be glad she's your ex. Wonder Typical 9962 wants to say, you have to know that she really has mental disorders. It hurts big time, but you're out of the mess. Imagine if you had a house and all that went with it. 3 kids, etc., and you lost everything in the divorce. If your partner stated he was with her for the sex, did he drop her? Gop replies, he didn't drop her since our daughter was just 5 months old at the time. I wasn't suspicious of her doing anything like that, sleeping with someone else. The affair was for a whole year. I found out myself, just needed closure. I spent hard memories, just hit harder this time. I'm sorry, OP. That's brutal. They were definitely painting with more than just brushes. You experienced a whole whirlwind of emotions. And that's totally natural. I'm just wondering how you managed to stay together after she cheated on you the first time, OP. I think it would definitely be easier to sniff out a second instance of infidelity after the first, but the pain of betrayal after thinking you've rebuilt something that was lost is killer. I think pain like this doesn't just go away, and it's normal for it to come back and flood us with emotions. It's a way of mourning and processing. I'm not sure the pain of experiences like this ever really goes away. We just learn how to deal with it. It's okay to keep talking about it. It's okay to still process things as long as you're moving forward. What are your thoughts? Next up, an OP left completely shaken up, caught wife cheating, and was wondering thoughts. This will be a long story, so sorry. I'll try and keep it as brief as it can be. We've been together for over 21 years now and been married for 17 years. We have 3 kids together. I've always trusted my wife, and I've been confident that when she was getting together with guy friends or coworkers, that nothing was going on. She just started going out after work randomly with an ex-boss, male, who would drive an hour from his place of work to meet her at her place of work or nearby. I was told that they would go for a run and then dinner and drinks. Mind you, this was probably taking place around 2016-ish. This didn't bother me at all, as I trusted her. One day, however, I'd got an anonymous message on Facebook created from a fake account that basically was stating that they'd seen my wife with another guy several times and didn't know how to approach me about it, but wanted to alert me to it. They made mention about seeing them on trails and at a restaurant and made comments about how they had thought about going to my sister. I somehow convinced myself that this message was fake and from a bot per se. Soon I've tried to talk with my wife about how this guy must have other motives. If he's driving an hour after work to run 4 miles with her and avoiding going home to be with his own wife and kids, which were still an hour from where they were running. My wife told me that she squashed this connection after our conversation. Fast forward to 2020. My wife was out with a different ex-boss, again male. When she comes home, she tells me about this night and how he was connecting with a different girl at the bar and ended up doing some things with this girl at the end of the night and sending some pics to my wife. Her telling me this got me to start looking in her messages whenever she would be away from her phone. She had always told me that she deleted old text messages, which is another red flag. So the messages that I would look at would always be a bit fragmented. Anyways, This guy would send my wife pics and videos of him having sex with other girls, so this kept me on high alert and constantly wanting to look at her messages. One morning during winter of 2021, we were away on a family vacation. I found myself glancing at my wife's phone while she was away from it. I caught a texting conversation between her and a female friend that spoke of a guy that my wife was seeing. The feeling that came over me was unexplainable. I had convinced myself that nothing was going on with things in the past, but now reality was setting in. As I continued to catch fragments of conversations, I learned that my wife was going out with this girlfriend, and they would then meet up with some guys later in the night. To make matters worse, the guy that my wife was connecting with was a friend of hers in town. I start to see that her and this guy are using other apps to communicate, so I try and monitor those conversations. But she's fairly quick to delete these messages. I would even see her texting him while laying next to me in bed, while she probably thought I was sleeping. I would see their good morning messages as well. It became a lot. To make matters worse, we were getting work done in our house, and it came to find out that my wife also had conversations in these other apps with the contractor, as she either was or was trying to get together with him. While all this is going on, and again, I'm catching fragments in conversations due to the deleting that's going on, I also caught a text from what was her current boss then, and he makes mention of hooking up together tomorrow. Write this out, the more I'm feeling extremely stupid and like a chump. Anyways, with all this going on, I reach out to the guy in town's wife via text, as I wanted to get her on my side and make her aware. This backfired on me, as she thought that my text to her was a fake and showed her husband. He then reached out to my wife, who then came driving home crying to me. We then discussed some of what I mentioned here. I told her to break things off with these guys, and she has told me that she did. During a few months of me trying to find out what was going on while watching her text when I could, I went from being a very confident and happy male to being someone who can't get this stuff out of his head and can't even explain the way I feel about all this. My wife and I have had a couple of conversations over the past couple of years since this has all transpired to help with what goes on in my head, but it is still very tough on me. It is 2023 and 2 years since this all came to a head. I never thought to reach out to this community beforehand, but I'm wondering what people might tell me. What advice would you give to me in trying to work through this and save our family? Thank you all. Asking for advice? Let's see what the community says. There is no saving your family from this. Your wife has been unfaithful to you for years. You are not ready to face reality. Staying with her will only give you pain and suffering. Dragon Master 97 chimes in. You're trying to save something that doesn't exist. This is only going to cause you frequent and more intense pain over time. Your best option is to get into therapy for yourself. You need to develop a way to process your wife's betrayal. Once you have worked that through, you'll have some more insight into what you should do next. Your wife is a serial cheater, and the likelihood of her stopping that activity is extremely small. It usually takes something extreme to happen to a serial cheater for them to have the desire to fix themselves, and without that, they do not change. The saddest part of the equation is that because you have already accepted that she betrayed you and continue to try and work on your relationship, she has even less respect for you than she did when she was cheating on you with multiple people. That is the nature of infidelity. Uncomfortable Bike 975 says, DNA test for the kids, lawyer, not necessarily in that order. Both at 9225 says, an STD test too. Cheaters pass those out like candy on Halloween. Fisai says Stupid Namazera wants to say, yes, she's a serial cheater and has been going on a long time. She's taking it whenever she can get it. She has a friend who is an active and ongoing part of their infidelity and egging her on. Test those kids now. Talk to a lawyer now. You feel like a chump because you've let her turn you into one. Her tears and saying she'll break it off is BS. Serial cheating is a character flaw. Until your wife is, she will not change, and you will never be able to trust her. As long as you are with her, you will always be a chump. Sorry, but it's the truth. If you want to stay married, then you might as well just give her permission to sleep around, open the marriage up, and get yours too. If you're that type of person, personally, I'd never be in an open relationship, but you've been in one your whole marriage, and she just didn't have the common courtesy to let you know. Just a guy in town says, Quietly lawyer up, learn how the law in your location will treat you, then make plans. Separate your lives quietly. You will never ever trust her again. You will never believe anything she tells you unless the third person confirms it. Ever again. If you stay, your kids will grow up in a poisoned home. If you stay, you will hate her more with time. I suggest you saying nothing until you are ready to make your move. If you tell her earlier, she will panic. She will deny. She will minimize. She will apologize, swear to change. In short, she will lose it and lie shamelessly. And if she changes, you will never believe her. How you're feeling is totally valid and fair. It will be hard to trust your wife again. And I think that having that constant communication between each other is extremely important if the two of you mutually want to work on this. Therapy is an excellent start, as some comments have suggested. I think you have to be honest with her about how you're feeling and always be up for talking about it between the two of you, as processing stuff like this takes time. Her actions have metaphorically set your house on fire, and that means the two of you have to work to build a new foundation with new walls, etc. Hey yo! Thanks a million for tuning into our story. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to hit that like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe for more content. Your support means the world to us.